Dead and Company recap, Golden Gate Park, what they were calling the Grateful Dead 60th anniversary. I went to all 3 days. If you're new to my channel, let me tell you the context. So, I had never heard the Grateful Dead before. I knew of the band, like the name. I had never heard any of the songs. And a few months ago, I started reacting to Phish. I guess like a year ago, I started reacting to Phish. I started getting into Phish. And then I realized there's like a whole legacy of the Grateful Dead that kind of inspired Phish in the first place. And then I found out that they were planning this Grateful Dead 60th anniversary thing in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. And I live near San Francisco, so I was like, well, I have to go. Like, I can just, it's like right next to me. Like, how could I not go? So I decided to buy a ticket, and then in the meantime, I tried to cram the Grateful Dead over the last few months so that I'd be ready, for all the songs that were going to be played, or most of the songs, just have some kind of familiarity with the situation. And so I wanted to talk about the festival, because it really was the size of a festival. The only thing I can really equate it to is I've been to Stagecoach, which is the third weekend of Coachella, which is a country music Coachella, basically. Coachella has multiple stages and is bigger grounds than this was. This was one polo field, but it was 60,000 people. The busiest day seemed to be Saturday. Sunday seemed less crowded. Friday, seemed about the same as Sunday. But it was a really great experience overall. Everybody was really nice. I think what was the most interesting is just everyone I talked to was basically from out of state. I mean, I saw some people who are like local. Like I saw people I knew actually. I was like, oh, that woman goes to my kid's school. Like she's the mom of a girl I know. And some people like that, I ran into. But most of the people I ended up talking to, like who were standing near, I'd be like, oh, where are you guys from? And they're like, oh, Tennessee or Arkansas or South Carolina or whatever. Like people really came in from all over the country for this. And I know that Dead and Company is very controversial to some people because it's not the Grateful Dead. And some people say it's just a cash grab. And they say all these things about it. And I have to say, overall, I'm really glad I went because it's very clear to me just how old Bob Weir is. Mickey Hart actually seems in better shape. Maybe but he is getting older. Like you can just tell they're like getting much older. And I was thinking, I'm like, at the very end, they had their own bow, like Bob Weir and Mickey Hart, like the OG Grateful Dead people. And I'm like, wow, there's probably not going to be a GD70. You know what I mean? And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So I was like really glad I went because as I get older, that won't really be an option. And I just want to go over kind of the playlist, show you guys some photos, talk about my experience, talk about what songs I liked. And if you don't know, I've been reacting to a lot of these songs, and I had opinions on a lot of the songs that when I heard them, some of them didn't really translate for me, but I will say now that I heard them live, I liked them much better. So I'll tell you guys which of those were my opinions, like which ones changed by seeing them live. And what were my favorites and stuff like that. What was my favorite day? I just kind of want to like go over everything. So first of all, I actually really like Billy Strings. I got into Billy Strings a few months ago. I saw him do a set at the Outlaw Music Festival. Let me find my Billy Strings tab. So the opener on Friday was Billy Strings, and he came on right at 4:30. And I was walking into the park right at like 4:30. So I heard his Gilda Lily start. And I loved the Gilda Lily. That was one of the songs that made me cry when I first reacted to it. I could talk to the birds if I only had the words or whatever. But the good thing is he ended up doing a super long rendition of Gilda Lily. So while I was in line for security, I could actually hear it. It was like super loud. And as I came in, it was still Gilda Lily. Like even though it took me like 10 minutes to like get in from walking in, I'll show you guys that process. So I made a little album and it's in chronological order. And so when you get to the park, you had to go through security lines, but they were really well organized. So they had these like snaking paths. So that really helped with the crowd control. And then they had to do the bag check. And as long as you brought a clear bag, there were no issues. They literally would just like feel your clear bag and let you go through. They didn't really check the clear bags, which was awesome. Because I was bringing like snacks. Like I brought Cheez-Its and stuff because I get hungry. So then you walk in through a tunnel and you end up on the field. And it's just a massive amount of people. I mean, it was, again, besides for me having gone to Stagecoach, I don't think I'd been to a concert this big. It was, in fact, that it was GA, because I've been to like I saw Lady Gaga in the San Francisco Giants baseball stadium, and then I think I've been to a concert at like a football type setup, like Levi Stadium kind of thing, but that's all seated, and it's a very different setup. This is just a lot of people walking around a field, and there's definitely it was just crazy. And so there were like roped off VIP sections, which I didn't go in because I was just GA. But, so this is from the beginning. This is Billy. I think bluegrass is so beautiful, but especially Billy Strings, just his band is so good, and his music is so good, and he has such a pretty voice, and he's so talented. So I was so glad he was swinging through, because I knew he was going to be playing in Montana this time of year, and so I think he was able to just add on this date to his tour kind of in between things, and so lucky that he came by.
And a big fine horse in the grain to feed him on. Shade up and stay at home and feed him when I'm gone.
I actually barely got any videos of me at this whole thing. And I actually didn't take that many video clips. I was actually mostly immersed in the music. You'll see like pretty much every video I took over the 3 days, which is not that many because it was basically like 10 seconds clips here and there. Away from the mic. Yeah, anyway, so Billy Strings was just amazing. I love that Away from the Mire. Spring came again this time this year. Fear again. Didn't know I'd done it. Anyway, this is merch. I couldn't believe that these were $200. Like that large poster was $250. I was like, whatever. But I don't collect posters, so I was also like, what? People are paying $65 for a poster? I couldn't believe it. But anyway, I just took a picture of that from far away because the merch line was long. And they had, $65 poster, $90 foil poster, huge poster, $250. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. They had all these different shirts and stuff. I don't really like t-shirts. Like, I don't really wear t-shirts that have logos on them or like band logos. I just wear like plain clothes, and I also really don't like myself in kind of baggy t-shirts. I like very like fitted stuff, and I don't want to like end up with stuff in the landfill. So that's why I don't buy that. But I like things like stickers and pins, like small things that can like go in like a memento box. That's the kind of stuff I like to collect, or like a magnet or something, like something that's like small that I can keep forever, and I won't feel like I need to declutter it. And yeah, but yeah, they had really cute stuff. I thought it was like very good looking merch. So yeah, just to show you guys like the scale of this. So I'm gonna try to like see how there's all those porta potties. So people were even sitting up on this hill outside of the main field. I'd say to its credit, they had enough bars where the lines for alcohol was never that long, and same with the food. There was like a lot of spread out things, and I feel like that's what other music festivals do too. Like I've been to Bottle Rock. Oh yeah, Bottle Rock was also very big. But Bottle Rock has 3 stages, so it feels very different because when you're at Bottle Rock or Stagecoach, you're choosing a stage and you can go from place to place. And they even had like an indoor honky tonk at Stagecoach, and Bottle Rock had, I think, an indoor room too, like a DJ room kind of thing. So it just felt like you could go more places. This is like everybody in one place, and there's only one stage. So it was a very different, it was like the size of a music festival with only one stage. So again, I just hadn't been to anything like that before. They had, their cocktails were themed. Shakedown Julep, Scarlet Begonia Margarita, and Sunset Dreams Nagarita. I guess that's the non-alcoholic cocktail, maybe. So this is where I stood on the first day during once the Dead and Company came on. And again, I had just gotten to know this band recently, and the way I did it is I would react to different recordings people suggested to me, different live recordings mainly. I listened to like the Europe 72 album, most of it, and then I did a project where I would like listen. I would try to play songs on the piano just from the sheet music without having heard it before. And so a lot of the songs that I like the most are the ones that I did the piano for. So I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so basically the first set, Bob Weir basically sang all the lead on these first, all of them until Althea. So I hadn't even really heard John Mayer sing lead until Althea. And then I love Althea, by the way, that whole opening riff. Althea has actually been one of my favorite Grateful Dead songs. Althea and I Know You Writer are like my two favorite songs. So when he came out and did Althea, I was like, oh my God, John Mayer can like really sing. He has like a really good voice. And I was like, wow, he does that really well. So I was really impressed at that moment. But again, I was so immersed in this. Those were the only video clips I took. The rest of the time, I was just dancing and having a good time. And it didn't matter that I had heard Mississippi Half Step Uptown Tulu at the little cover band thing I went to. I think I had heard Feel Like a Stranger. I feel like I had heard Tennessee Jed. They were like likable and easy enough. You know, it was fine. Second half. Oh yeah, Terrapin Station. I liked that part. So basically, Eyes of the World was one where if you guys have been watching me doing, you know, I was always like, Eyes of the World. At first I was like, it's a hippie song. Then I was like, oh, Eyes of the World's okay as a jam vehicle, but I still don't care for the song. Live, I was very fond. Like Eyes of the World was totally entertaining. Meaning I wasn't bored. I wasn't like, oh my God, what's this? I was like locked in for Eyes of the World. I was like, all right, like I could like, it was a gem. Okay. It was like a vibe. I was like, all right, Eyes of the World is a vibe. Yeah, Box of Rain. Oh yeah, Box of Rain was cool because Graham Lush came out, Phil Lush's son, same with playing in a band. Okay, then he went away. Then it was Estimated Prophet. I had heard Estimated Prophet before and it like didn't stick with me so much, but I remember being like, yeah, this is great. I was like into it. Then Eyes of the World came on. I was great. Then I Eyes of the World went on for quite a while and I was like, I really had to go to the bathroom. So I like went and peed. And then as I was like exiting the bathroom and coming back to my spot, all of a sudden like Terrapin Station came on. I was like, oh my God. And I like had to like run as fast as possible to get back. And I thought it was a really nice Terrapin Station. Okay, so then you guys didn't tell me about drums. Okay, so like all the Deadheads who were like telling me what to expect, you guys didn't tell me about drums in space or whatever. Like you didn't tell me that was like a thing that happens at every Dead and Company show. So luckily my friend who I was with was like, yeah, there's gonna be this like long drum solo thing. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right. Now, Wharf Rat with Billy Strings was really nice. And I also got some clips, you know, I found them on YouTube. Was so great. So like I love that they had the whole opener thing and then that the guitarist from those special guests got to play with Dead and Company in the Dead sets. So like I thought that was really cool. But yeah, so like I really like, but night one was like, and some people were like very meh on night one because I was like reading reviews and stuff like that. And some people were like so upset for me. Like, there were people like who were watching my journey who had listened to night one and they were like, oh no, that was her first experience. It wasn't good. And I heard later after the fact that like John Mayer was sick until Sunday. I heard that Bob Weir had just had surgery or something. So they were not like on. So people were like concerned for me. But I'm telling you, I was still very positive. Like, overall, I was like, that was great. I can't wait to come back for day 2 and 3. You know what I mean? So like my overall night one was like, this was a great vibe. Everybody's so nice just to see all the people. And I was like super into it. Everything was great. Now, here's the crazy part. I applied for the first entry thing for Saturday and Sunday. I knew I couldn't go on Friday because I was going to make it in time. It was like work and stuff. But I applied for Saturday, Sunday, and then on Friday afternoon at 4:30 p.m., they're like, by the way, you've been selected for the Saturday first entry. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So that means I had to get there by 1:30 to stand in a line to then be let onto the field early. So I made, okay, this is still night one, by the way. That's my terrapin station. Inspiration. It's like my one selfie video I took of the night with you guys. That was And I'm really glad. I mean, honestly, I like Terrapin Station a lot. I'm really glad that you guys. I'm really glad I like got to hear Terrapin Station in my life. Like, I'm really glad that a few months ago you guys were like, "Oh, listen to Terrapin Station," because it has been life changing. So it was really nice to hear that, get to know it, fall in love with it, and then hear it live. I was like, okay, cool. Like, it was like a important life moment for me. And by the way, there's gonna be like way better. There's like way better recordings of this online, right? So I don't need to play you all my like home videos, but. So every night it did kind of end abruptly, and it was a little bit crazy getting out. Like, it would be really crowded like this. Okay.
Okay,
Now, I did this whole first entry thing where I was like headed there early, got in line. So I was 106, and then this was the process of like getting in, walking down, getting in line again, standing in line again, finally getting to go to the field, stay in order, go through the tunnel. Finally, and it's like, don't run. Anyway, this is where I ended up. So the point is, it's an interesting concept. So there was people in front of me, everybody to my immediately right in front of me and to my immediate right, who were like more center than me, were VIP. So they had paid thousands to have the ability to go to this section first. So they basically got a 1 minute head start than the lottery people. So GA Lottery was like 300 people that were selected to come on early. And then after that, all the people who waited in line first come, first serve were let in after us. So I think this kind of balances out the whole like wealth inequity thing, that it's like, okay, these VIP people pay thousands of dollars to get to go on the rail. And then we were able to come in. I luckily got 105, but honestly, a lot of people in front of me didn't even show up. So I'd say I was more like 50 because there were not 100 people in front of me. It was like 50 people in front of me. So I got to be like third row right in front of John Mayer, basically. And that only happened because I won the lottery. But all the people right in front of me were all VIP, the little family to the right of me. And then the people who ended up behind us had numbers around like 290, 300. They were at the end because the 300 is the last lottery. And they were able to be right behind us, but we kind of like unified and made like our own large tarp to like, you know, just kind of like unify together. And so this was my spot. I mean, that was like a really good spot, and I couldn't believe it happened. So see how close that was? So yeah, these people were all VIP, VIP, VIP. This girl right here was also in the lottery a few spaces after me. This was a VIP family. It was like a mom and dad and their daughter. There's me and my neon because, you know, I just do my own thing. Y'all, like, I've never liked denim or like hippie skirts or like faded colors or like flowers in my hair or like patchwork dresses. It's just not who I am. I'm just like either athletic wear and like usually bright colors. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
Just doing my... All right, then I saw Bob Weir just like hanging out backstage looking at Sturgill Simpson. Like he was just watching Sturgill from off stage. I was like, oh, that's cool. So I took a video of this, and this video on Instagram has like 150,000 views or something. Yeah, that video has 150,000 views on Instagram. It's like a very short, like YouTube short, you know? So I'd never heard of Sturgill Simpson before, and I was trying to figure out what his genre was because he was something like I'd never heard before. It was kind of like country, but then it was also not country, and it was also kind of like poppy, but also not country. And then he kind of did like, then when he got into his jamming, I was like, that's really good, and that's not what I expected. So he's kind of just like good. I don't know what to say. He kind of like crosses like genres. Oh, and they had a saxophone. Like he played the keyboard, but he also could saxophone. And I thought of the Phish song Simple, like what is a band without saxophones? So I agree. I was like, what is a band without saxophones? Saxophones are grand. This was also the warmest day, like where I actually like went down to my tank top layer for a while. I think it also because it was behind the stage, the wind was blocked by the stage. The last day was well, it started out sunny, but then it got really windy, and it ended up being the coldest, strangely. It was like both the hottest and coldest, but this was in the middle of the day. I was actually like, oh my God, I'm like too hot wearing 2 pairs of tights. This was a random fan that I met, actually. I was wandering through the crowd, and he's like, Erica. And then it's like someone, and I've chatted with this guy on Instagram before, actually. He's one of my followers, and he's like, yeah. And he like wanted a picture with me, and I was like, of course. A lot of people recognized me, actually. It was a very strange experience. But luckily I go by my real name, so when they said Erica, I look, you know, it's like I'm going by some like fake name. So I'm like, huh? It's like, oh, and then I like taught anyone who said hi to me, I like said hi, you know, I hung out with them a little bit, like talked to them. I'm really nice like that. Like I'm not like, you know, mean or anything like that. And it was funny because like people think I'm a celebrity now. I don't think I'm a celebrity. I'm like, whatever. I'm a very, very small YouTuber and have like a very modest social media following. But apparently people watch my videos, so they know who I am. So if you ever want to take a picture with me, I'm going to say yes, as long as you're nice.
Let's go, San Francisco!
That's our mayor, Daniel Lurie, who's been doing really great things for San Francisco. Him organizing this and being like, oh, we're going to have Outside Lands anyway, which is a music festival this coming weekend. So you might as well already have the stage set up and just have this extra Grateful Dead thing. Well, Dead and Company, sorry, it's not the Grateful Dead. It's like, I know. but yeah, he's bringing so much money to the city. And you know how many people came? Again, it was mostly tourists, I feel like. And all the hotels were booked and restaurants and like so much stuff going around. And then all the other businesses and bars and restaurants that were having after parties and smaller bands playing in celebration. That's so good for San Francisco. So this was like a really good thing for the city.
You brought joy, you brought energy, you brought love. It's just...
So then I got to be really close. Like I said, this is the first entry experience, so I was really close. I'd say overall, it's a pro. Okay? Like, it is like, was such a cool experience. The hardest thing about being up there, though, was the only bathrooms and the bars were all the way in the back. There wasn't like any VIP thing up in the front or like closer bathrooms. So I literally had to walk all the way to the back. And and it wasn't a problem during the opener. Like, I think I went to the bathroom before the opener or something and I was okay. And then I had to go between Dead & Company set 1 and set 2. There was just no option. I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, I'm not going to make it. Like, I have to go. And getting back to the spot in the front was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I've given birth twice. Okay? Like, that is how difficult it was to get back to the front. It was like so when I was leaving at the set break, I was like, oh, I'll go to the side and then walk back. Well, the problem is the sides had been rushed. When the Dead & Company started, all people filled up in the sides, and there were no aisles, which was like a safety issue, by the way. So there were no more aisles on the side. It was just like completely packed, and then people were all trying to get out. It was so crazy. So on the way back, I was like, well, I'm center. The best way for me to get back is going to be straight through the middle and just parting through a sea of people until I get all the way back to the front. So I had to basically walk through an entire polo field holding 2 drinks for me and my friend, and to get all the way back. And so I'm like dodging people, and I'm like, oh my God, just a little longer. Like, please, I wish the Red Sea would just part for me. And it was like so crazy. And then like I got like most of the way there, and then it was nice. Then a guy goes, Erica, oh my God, this is like the girl from TikTok. She's so famous. And he was like an older gentleman, and he wanted to take a picture with me. And it was kind of funny because he was with all these like 20-something-year-old guys. And then they're like, really? Who is she? Like, she's a TikTok star? How do we follow her? Like, they were like very intrigued because this man was like so excited that I happened to like walk through. But because I have a little bit of recognition now, so if I go through a crowd and someone recognizes me, they're like, oh, it's Erica. Like, come on through. Like, no problem. I was like, like, have to get back to the front. Have to get back to my spot. But I literally made it like just with minutes to spare before the last set. But I was like, oh my God, I'm telling you, it was one of the most stressful things. And that alone makes me not want to be in the front. Like, they either need to have aisles, they need to have organization or something, because that is not, it was just insane. I was like, this is not safe. Like, there needs to be like aisles for people to walk in. Like, it doesn't make sense. By the way, that's a mother-daughter. It's very cute. And the daughter knows all the songs too. She was like singing them. It was a really cute. Like. Okay, so this was the second day. And so, yeah, okay, it was good. I love Jack Straw. I liked Bertha more than the first time I heard it. Of course, I know Hey Jude, but they just did that as like a coda at the end of Mr. Fantasy. Brown Eyed Women I had heard. Oh yeah, so the Morning Dew is the one I was just talking about. Beautiful. I remember I warmed up to Morning Dew, okay? I was like very happy to hear it live. I was like, Morning Dew. It means something. It's important. It was like peaceful. I was in the moment. I was like, all right, Morning Dew. I just kind of let it flow and I was okay with it. Okay, so I did enjoy it. I was very like, and Sturgill Simpson did a great job. He has such a beautiful voice. Oh yeah, that's Graham Lesh, who came out again. Phil Lesh's son. Yeah, that was after. Okay, so yeah, I was so close. So I got to do the Help, Slipknot, Franklin's Tower. And then Saint Stephen. I loved. Actually, Saint Stephen was one that I really liked. I Know What Trucking Was. Broke Down Palace. Yeah, so this whole set was nice, and I kind of just was like, I wasn't really like thinking at the moment like, oh, this is Help, Slipknot, Franklin. I heard that before. I wasn't like registering that, but I liked it at the time. And then later I was like, oh, it was Help, Slipknot, Franklin. But at the time I was just kind of immersed in it. I wasn't really thinking about like what it was or whatever. But yeah, Saint Stephen was really good. That's why that guy was doing this. He wanted 11 to come. I love 11 too, so it would have been great, but I don't know if they play 11. It's kind of hard, right? Remember then they did the space, drums, whatever. Again, I didn't know it was something they do every single show, so I was a little bit like, okay. Spanish Jam, remember, guys, I had heard that. I reacted to that. So I knew a lot of things. I mean, I was really well prepared. Like I said, I knew Bertha, Jack Straw. Well, I know Hey Jude, but that's the Beatles. Brown Eyed Women, Morning Dew. I knew that. I knew Help, Slipknot, Franklin. I knew St. Stephen. I knew Spanish Jam. I knew Truckin'. I was like Broke Down Palace, right? I was well prepared thanks to your all suggestions on like what to prep before the concert, okay? Let's see. What happened next? Footage. Okay. The second day of the Dead and Company. I'm on my way to the third day. Okay. So then I had time to reflect after the second day because now I had 2 days under my belt. I had the first day, which was just like, whoa, this is a lot. This is like overwhelming. Then I came back for the second day. Again, had a great time. And look, Bob Weir is getting older. And when you get older, sometimes you're not going to be as good as when you were younger. And that's okay. But I was accounting for the fact that he was older, right? Like, it's still nice to see someone do something that they used to do when they were young, even as they get older. And again, once I was in that, like, rail rider area, I got to see the really hardcore people. And it was nice to see the multi-generational families. It was nice to see these teenagers hanging out with their parents who were just as enthusiastic about Dead and Company as their parents. The parents who were Deadheads, who are now following along in the tradition with Dead and Company. And I only thought it was a positive thing. And sometimes I would, instead of watching the band, I would look around and I'd watch the people. And I'm like only seeing pure joy all around me. Everybody's happy. Everyone has a smile on their face in the whole crowd. Behind me, to the right, to the left, everywhere. And I'm like, this is such a good thing. This is what this whole video is about. I go on about how, like, I can't believe there's Deadheads against this and, like, so upset. And they're like, oh, this isn't what Jerry would want. I kind of go on this whole thing about how, like, it is what Jerry would have wanted. And it's, like, so complicated because, yes, the prices are crazy, but the Dead became so much bigger now than it was then. So we can't apply like 1973 standards to today. Like, oh, well, in 73 tickets were only $12 or whatever, you know, like, and that's before the Dead had such a big following and you couldn't find out about things. There wasn't the internet. If they had made this concert free it would have been pandemonium. As it was so hectic. It was one of the most crazy things I'd been to in terms of like crowd control, just cramming a lot of people into a space, just the amount, finding a porta potty, even though there were so many porta potties, you still had to wait. There were lines. You had to navigate through crowds, but there's no aisles. You have to just like go around people. It was extremely, it could be more dangerous had there been everybody. Like if it's free, you're just going to have way too many people. And then that's not a fair experience either. So I wanted to also point out that prices ended up not really being scalpable. Like there were tickets being sold at the last minute for way under retail. Retail was like $600 something for the 3 days. And they were selling 3-day passes for $250 because people had tried to buy them to scalp them and couldn't scalp them and had to sell them at a loss. So again, I think that's kind of the like, ha ha ha, joke's on you, Jerry from heaven, maybe playing tricks on people, because it wasn't really scalpable in the end. I think because there was just so many tickets available that no one, the people who could afford the $650 bought it. The people who could afford VIP and paid thousands could afford it. And then you're dealing with everybody else who either wasn't going to spend $640 or, and so they were like, okay, well, can't go. And then so people had to like start lowering the prices. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I lost money on trying to scalp that, So I overall, I just don't see another way. And I also want to point out to all those really bitter deadheads, like this isn't what Jerry would have wanted, da da da. Why can't musicians earn a living for themselves and to leave money to their children? Because on the last night, the children of the band members, the original band members, came out and introduced Dead & Company. Why should they not be allowed to benefit from the hard work of their parents? Why should they not be able to inherit money and earn money off their parents' intellectual property, like the songs that were written, the royalties, concerts, merchandise? Why should they not be allowed to do that? When it's just like if you owned an oil company, you would be able to leave that money to your kids. Why is it like, oh, well, Jerry wouldn't have wanted that? It's like, well, no, I'm sure he wanted to make sure his kids were provided for and his grandchildren. And he wanted to make sure that they had money, right? And like the Lush family. And like, isn't that a good thing that like people should be able to leave money to their grandchildren and like, leave money to their children from all the work they put in with all the music they did and all the touring? Isn't that okay? Like, it's just like crazy, the double standards that are applied for musicians. Like everyone else can make money except for musicians. They need to sing for free and they need to just provide this service to the world because it's like, no, it's not like that. And it just would have been impossible. Plus, I was very happy that there's so much staff with jobs. You know how hard it is to have a job nowadays if you're like an uneducated, unskilled person? It's hard sometimes to make a living. I'm pretty sure they're paying all these event staff, the people doing the security, the people working at the bar. They all got to get a nice hourly wage. And why? Because this event was paying them. And so it was providing a lot of jobs for people who are maybe not skilled laborers, So I think it was a really good thing that they, it's okay for things to make money. Like it's okay to have a price point. Disneyland, if it was cheap, would have a lot of like rough people going, and instead they make it expensive, and then that makes it more special, and then it's harder for everyone to go, but then it makes it a really nice experience. So this was a very pleasant experience, and I think it could have been even more organized. Like I think it would have been better having more safety things, like having some aisles within the crowd so people could safely exit without like walking over a ton of blankets and crawling through people and just massive crowds. They could have had like aisles for like one-way traffic and then another way traffic, because like sometimes the lines would go like this and people are fighting upstream, downstream, salmon. Like it was like a big mess. So that's basically what I said here, is that I only see love and positivity from this. I only see 60,000 people dancing and singing together and celebrating music that they love. And the original band members are all going to die eventually, and maybe sooner than later. We don't know. So many of them are already gone, right? How are we to say that this shouldn't be done? Like, no, it shouldn't be done. Like, I hope that people make Beatles cover bands forever and ever. Like right now we still have Ringo and Paul McCartney touring, but how much longer are they going to do that? Like what, we're just going to let the Beatles music die because it's a cash grab? It's like, let musicians make money. Let music live on, So I don't know. I see the point of like the gatekeepers, but I also think the gatekeepers said that back when Touch of Grey came out. You know, Touch of Grey ruined the scene. And then the people, you know, the Pigpen era, like once Pigpen died, oh, it's not the Grateful Dead anymore. Like people have been saying things about every single era of the Dead, and every time the Dead got bigger and got like new fan base, there were the original people always being like, oh, now it's ruined. Now the scene is ruined. And that is not the outlook you need to have. I only saw joy. I only saw happiness. I only saw positive vibes. There was only like a few people where I was like, that person is way too drunk or high. But that was like one person, like who I was like, Like at the very end, once I was on the rail area, like up front, then I saw the craziness that happens. Because there'll be like some random person that gets really excited. They're pretty drunk at the end of the night. And they just thought they could just run up to the front and just like somehow get next to the stage. The rail police were not having it. The rail police were like, no, move back. You can't be up here. This isn't your spot. Which is fair. But also those guys were like they were like drunk to do that in the first place. They were not pleasant to be around. So other than that, I'd say like when I was further in the back on nights 1 and 3, the people around me were super nice. Everyone was so kind. Everyone was like friendly with each other. Everyone was like, oh, I'll watch your spot while you go to the bathroom. No one was like territorial or you can't stand here. You know, like if there was space, there was space. No one was like, oh, well, we need all the, you know, they were reasonable. They had enough space for them and their stuff. And then if there was a little bit of a gap, no one seemed to mind if we stood there. So I thought it turned out really nicely. Okay. And then third night, I wore this. I took a little selfie because I liked how my makeup and hair turned out. That was on the train. There I am. Okay, I was so happy to see Trey Anastasio because I'm in love with Phish. I think Phish is the best band in the whole world right now. I think they're the best living band that's performing right now. I'm not saying they're the best band of all time, but they are the best band alive and performing right now. I truly believe it. And I just seen 9 Phish shows in 3 months, and it's actually 7 shows in 1 month, technically, from Austin, June 26th, until Forest Hills, July 23rd. I saw 7 Phish shows in 1 month. So I was a little bit like getting withdrawal from like not seeing Phish, and then I wasn't going to see them again until September 21st. So then seeing Trey with his Trey band, Trey Tab as they call it, Trey Anastasio band, I was just like, oh my god, Trey, I miss you. And I fed my little like hole in my heart that was left without Phish. Okay, and Trey has this song now that he wrote for Trey Band, but he does it with Phish, called What's Going Through Your Mind. And he played this a lot this summer, and I happened to catch it twice already. So I was kind of like, and I knew it was a Trey Tab song. So I was like, okay, I bet they're going to play What's Going Through Your Mind. And they did. So I was like singing along so much. So, yep. Okay, then we got into my China Cat Sunflower Rider, which was like a big highlight of the 3 days. Because I love China Cat Sunflower Rider now. It's like one of my favorites. So basically like Althea, China Cat Sunflower Rider, Sugary, Terrapin Station. Those are pretty much my favorites. And I got everything. So, except for 11. But I was very happy. But this, I was singing along with I Know You Rider like the whole time. I was vibing. then Trey. Okay, so I like that. And okay, let's look at the third night set list. Hold on. Yeah, see, China Sunflower, Know You Rider, they love each other. It was so romantic. It was so, and people had just told me about that song because I did a little question last week about like romantic dead songs, and people told me about They Love Each Other, and then I got to hear it. Then of course Shakedown, the most 70s song ever. It was good. Deal was good. I hadn't heard that. I feel like all the Jerry Garcia band stuff is so good. Okay, Scarlet Begonias with Trey, and then his Fire in the Mountain. Oh, again, I was like, Trey, I missed you. So I was like really happy about that. And then Cumberland Blues. I love that. I can't wait much longer, Melinda. I swear they say Melinda. Then there was more drums in space. Oh, then Standing on the Moon, the other most romantic song ever. They were just like pouring it on deep. Then we got the Sugar Magnolia. And then I knew, I was like, they're going to play Touch of Grey as an encore. Because there weren't encores on night 1 and 2. And then they did. And I was into it this time. We will get by. Dun, 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 dun. We will. Okay, first his Scarlet Begonias.
But I might as well try.
It got darker and darker. This was the one day that wasn't cloud cover, actually, and so the sun was in our eyes for the first time of 3 days until it went down under the tree.
Now, that fire on the mountain, she's running around. What doesn't go up can never come down.
Okay, look, then I got to see Mickey Hart and Bob Weir take their vow alone. And I cried. Because I'm like, they're not going to be around for that much longer. We've already lost everybody else almost. I mean, there's some people that aren't, Donna's alive. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there are people who are no longer with us, like Phil Lesh, Jerry Garcia, et cetera, Pigpen. I mean, we can go on and on about everyone who's dead. And we won't have them for that long. So I was actually really happy to see them, and it makes me sad that anyone could have been against letting me see them so that I can one day tell I have children now to tell, but I also have grandchildren I can tell one day, and I can teach them about the dead, Then I made all my compilation videos of blah, 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 blah. That's what I do as a TikToker. I have to make little short videos about like, look at my outfits all put together in one video clip, blah, 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 highlight reel. So yeah, I thought they can get a lot of clips on YouTube that people put up already. Yeah, I love each other.
But we just days beside him.
Job on that, and he sang it so well, so I liked that. Yeah, some of these taped things are still being put and I just heard Standing on the Moon last week because like someone had recommended it, so I like listened to it and I was like, oh, it's a pretty sad song, like Standing on the Moon, but I'd rather be with you. So romantic. Again, it was a very like romantic like third night. Like I was like, ooh, romantic.
Standing on the moon, you're feeling so alone, blue. See the Gulf of Mexico, tiny as a tear. That coast to California must be somewhere over here. Over here.
Like the whole whole field was rocking. Everybody was just like so into it. You know, she was. Yeah, Mayor was in it. So I think he was sick the first 2 nights I heard, and then he was like much more on Sunday. But I liked it all, everybody. Like I really did. I had, and of course I got my Trey Anastasio, the greatest of all time. I'm just in love with Phish. I can't help it. I just love Trey. Like, I'm biased, but I really enjoyed like Billy Strings, Sergil Simpson, Trey Anastasio, the Dead and Company as they're set up with. Yes, Bob Weir's older. Is he singing like a 25-year-old? No. Is it okay that he's still making money? Yes. Like, let him leave some money to his children. You know what I mean? Like, why are we so like, you know? Let people just... And then the people were so happy. It's bringing people together. It's bringing joy. Like, people got miracled. People got discounted tickets. People did the volunteering thing in order to get free tickets. Like, there was a volunteer option where you got a free ticket in exchange to like work a few shifts, like pick up garbage and stuff like that. So there were ways to go for free if you had to, and people were giving miracles. So look, it just was what it was. Do I agree with the VIP sections? No, because I don't do VIP. I do GA. But I got to win that lottery, which was completely randomized for one of the days, which was luck. But there were people who paid a lot of money to stand in front of me, and they had the money. Is that fair? I don't know. No, I guess. But like, whatever. Like, these people got to make money somehow. So I don't know. I don't want to like judge how things work. I'm just saying there should have just been more organization, aisles, safety precautions with that amount of people. But overall, everyone was so nice. Everyone I talked to was so kind. I got recognized by at least 10 people. Like TikTok, Instagram, oh, YouTube, you're that girl from TikTok, YouTube, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, I'm famous now. Not really, but it was an interesting experience to like, because I still don't believe that I'm recognizable, because I'm like, oh, I'm just some mom living in the Bay Area, and no one knows who I am, whatever. And then it's like, Erica, oh my God, Erica Retro Gamer. I'm like, I know, I need to rebrand, but that's my brand, and that's why I wear the outfits I wear. See, people think, oh, she's trying to da-da-da. It's like, no, I wear a branded look so that people can recognize me. It's actually just marketing. It's not because I'm trying to ruin the dead scene, or I would do that anywhere, whether I'm at a video game convention, whether I'm at Phish, whether I'm at an EDM concert, whether I'm at the Dead and Company, whether I'm in Vegas, wherever I'm going now, I'm going to wear kind of my signature look, which is like thigh-high neon stockings and like hot pinks and a lot of bright colors, because that's just my branding. Hair bows, like kind of like very like pretty, like kind of youthful stuff. Like, that's just how gamer girls dress, okay? Like, that's just like the style when you're a model, okay? So that's just why I do it. It's marketing, and it worked because people recognize me. Had I been like blending in with like patchwork, and maybe some days I'll want to blend in places and I'll just like not dress in my very noticeable clothing, and I'll wear like a t-shirt and jeans and just like wear a beanie and like kind of be under the radar, right? Maybe I'll do that in the future. It's just for now I'm like building my brand and I'm building all my social medias. So it makes sense for me to stay with a branding that's very distinctive, because if people have seen one of my YouTube videos or one of my TikToks and they see that outfit and then I wear that a very similar outfit again, they'll go, oh, I've seen that girl before. It's like a recognition thing. So that's just why I do that. I'm not trying to like ruin the dead scene or something, which some people like, oh, the scene, it's even more ruined now. I'm like, no, it's not me. Trust me. I was the only one. Well, no, I saw some crazy outfits, okay? It's San Francisco. Like, there were people dressed as like the Mad Hatter from like Alice in Wonderland, okay? So most people just would wear a normal, like a Grateful Dead t-shirt and jeans, or like maybe some hippie type-esque things. Everybody else, but there was also weird San Francisco, like people out there, hippie stuff, costumes. I was not the only one like dressed up, okay? So like it wasn't that crazy, and everyone actually complimented my outfit. They're like, wow, I love your outfit. I love your stockings. I love your bright colors. Like, wow, it's so cute. I love your hair bows. Like, people only give me compliments. Someone was like, what is she wearing that? People are actually really nice. So that's my overall recap. So basically I liked it. It was a good experience. I knew so many Dead songs. The songs that I hadn't loved before, I love more now after hearing them live. And there's nothing I really didn't like. There was nothing where I was like, ugh, I wish that, that was a snoozer. Like I kind of just enjoyed everything because there was a variety between fast songs and slow songs and content and just Dead over the years, early Dead, late Dead, middle Dead. There was a lot of variety, so I was like, okay. I found it just to be a very entertaining 3 days. I wasn't bored. I wasn't looking at my watch. I wasn't like, when is this over? I was like totally into it. I enjoyed it. I'm so glad I went. I can't wait for the next concert. I'm addicted to concerts in general. I can't wait for more live music. In fact, I'm going to go back to the same place to see Outside Lands Friday afternoon. The headliner there is John Summit. He is a DJ, a Gen Z DJ, who I'm like really into right now. So I'm going to be going to the Outside Lands, returning to the Empire Polo Field, not the Empire, that's Coachella, the San Francisco Golden Gate Park Polo Fields to see John Summit. So more live music. Rufus to Soul, another DJ. It's actually not one person, it's a group, but they are performing at Shoreline Amphitheater next week. So I'm just trying to fill up my concert schedule with music. It's varied. It's not just jam bands. I like everything. Before jam bands, I liked rock and EDM and pop and country and pretty much everything. Sometimes I'll throw in a random Spanish concert. Like, I saw Enrique Iglesias. Once I saw Janet Jackson, I haven't really been to any rap concerts, but I've been to some like lighter hip hop R&B type concerts. So yeah, pretty much any genre, small live cover bands, big bands, fun bands, DJs, just anything. So it was great. Again, Althea, I thought he did a great job. John Mayer, I thought he had a really pretty voice. It really came out in a lot of the songs. Bob Weir's hanging in there. And again, I wasn't expecting him to sing like a 25-year-old. I'm expecting him to sing, I think he's 80, right? Or like 78 or something. Like he's older. He's over 75. So I'm expecting him to sing like someone over 75. I'm not coming in with the expectations of him being 25, right? If you have that in mind, it's like, okay, maybe this is one of his last times he's doing this. And then who knows what's going to happen to Dead & Company. Maybe they'll get some of these other younger guitarists like Billy Strings to come in one day once they lose other members, and maybe yes, it will just become a cover band because everyone's dead. But what else are we gonna do? Just like bury the music with the people? No, we gotta keep doing it. And the Dead community is still vibrant and well, and I saw that through the people. Oh, and just to compare, because I've been to so many Phish concerts lately, there's so many more women at Dead & Company than Phish. Phish is like mostly male audience, and the age range of Phish fans is more limited. It's like 35 to 60. It's mostly men. That's like the Phish audience. Grateful Dead had every age. You had teenagers, you had people in their 20s, you had people in their 30s, people in their 40s, people in their 50s, people in their 60s, and people in their 70s. You had like every age group attending. And I'd say it still wasn't 50-50 male women, but I'd say it was like 45-55. So like 55% men, 45% women, or maybe 40-60 at worst case, but it was a lot of women there. Unlike Phish, which I've never really seen that many women at a Phish show proportionally. And not as many young people at a Phish show. So you just have more young people, every age, 30, like I said, every single age was represented, and it was just a broader appeal. And I felt like everybody was there, and I did see some people I knew. So I kind of was like hiding out from people. I mean, people who recognize me from TikTok, yes. But then like when I see a mom from my kid's school who, used to be a Girl Scout troop leader, and then we had a falling out, I was like, oh, there's her and her husband. Like, I'm going to hide. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. Like, you run into people who maybe are your neighbors. You don't necessarily want to see at a concert. But yeah, that's my recap. I liked it a lot. Would I see them at the Sphere? I guess, like, that's the next question is, like, would I see Dead & Company again? I'd say yes. But if I had to make a choice between seeing Phish or Dead & Company, I'm going to see Phish. Like, if it was like, oh, I only have so much money or time and I can only spend it on one thing, I'm still going to see Phish more because those songs are just so beloved to me. And I am in love with Trey Anastasio, Mike Gordon, Paige McConnell, and John Fishman. Like, I absolutely love the four of them together, and they are I want them to be my dad and my uncle So yeah, I'm still obsessed with Phish. For those people who are worried, people are like worried. Like the Phish fans sometimes get worried. Like, what? She's going with other jam bands now? Like, what if she leaves us and doesn't come back? And it's like, no, guys, I'm not leaving you. I can be polyamorous, okay? We need love between the jam bands. No hate, okay? Polyamorous, baby. That's what Maya Thatch taught me. So anyway, it was really great. And I did see people at this that I saw at the Goose concert. But there were also people wearing Phish t-shirts. But I recognized people specifically. Like I was on the En Judah, which is the light rail line after the show. And I saw this older gentleman, and I remember him distinctively because he's so much older. Like he's completely gray-haired and tall, and he was at Goose in the floor with me, and then he was on the train. And I'm like, that's the exact guy I saw at Goose. So I was like, okay. So and I saw other Goose fans who were at the Dead and Company. So I was like, okay. So there's a lot of crossover, and then I saw a ton of Phish t-shirts and Phish stuff on people, like different Phish pins and Phish backpacks and Phish patches and whatever. So there's definitely like overlap between all these communities. But I'd still say there's like a lot of variety between the fans and which ones gravitate to what. But this was an event I did not want to miss because it was such a big deal. It was kind of historic. And don't think there's going to be a 70th with any living members performing. Hate to say. So this was my time to do it. I'm not getting any younger either. So it's like, why say no to a concert when I can say yes? Anyway, if you're still watching this, wow, you just listened to me rant for a really long time. But I hope you enjoyed this long video about Dead and Company 60th anniversary celebration of the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia's birthday, which was on Friday, August 1st.